What does it take to start a brewery in this modern age? With the beer business booming better than ever before, is the dream of creating a successful brewery easier to grasp than it has ever been? Or is this industry's potential oversubscription making it seemingly impossible to get a foothold in the market? As a pre-teen, my family moved from East London to the greenier pastures of Bishop Stortford, Hertfordshire. It was here that I tried my first beer and eventually grew to love all things beer. Along for the ride with my amazing group of friends, we got into all kinds of hijinks over the years, from our teens to our 20s. It was during this time one of my closest friends, Darren Lawrence, decided to take his dream of brewing his own beer to the next level. So here I am, back in Bishop Stortford, years after moving back to the capital, to catch up with him as he's starting to make waves in the local brew scene.
I'm Darren Lawrence. I'm owner, brewer and director of the Bishop Stortford Brewery. I jumped into brewing about 10 years ago at home, and then just kept getting good feedback about the beers, and gradually from my own little test plant at home started to feed some beers out there, still good receptions, and so I knew it was time to step up, but there was so much I needed to learn, so I became a cuckoo brewer, going around other different breweries, learning the trade, brewing under my own name and for people, until I got the chance to come here, rent a space and be independent, and still trying to do my best and make good beer, really.
Although Darren is starting to gain traction in the local beer market, it wasn't always the smooth ride that it may have appeared to be on the outside.
It was easy to become the Bishop Stortford Brewery, but as soon as I did, I all of a sudden had a kind of a little bit of a fight on my hands. Another company wanted to take the name Bishop Stortford Brewery and add that to their own brewing company, which they hoped to set up, which luckily, not being mean, they didn't. But yeah, straight away I knew I had to protect the name, so that meant registering the company name and getting things all legally sorted out. And yeah, that was interesting, because all of a sudden being quite optimistic and setting up the brewery and being happy and going, yeah, this is what I want to do, straight away the first hurdle was literally thrown in my face on day one. And it kind of, all of a sudden reality hit that I had to be a little bit more savvy, that I had to be a little bit more meaner just to survive, really. But I overcome that hurdle with some help from friends, and yeah, kept the beer name, kept the brewery name, which is really important to me. And yeah, that was the only real issue I had. And then it was just a case of finding pubs that would take me on, which was the next battle, really.
Bishop Stortford was once known for its rich brewing history. I wonder how much of Bishop Stortford's heritage factor into the production of Darren's beers.
It's tough. Sadly, the association stops with the name. I'd like to be able to say that I would be able to play on things a bit more in terms of if ingredients were grown locally, but sadly a lot of them, like the Malted Barley specifically, are up in Norfolk, where there are lots of malt grown. There is a maltings not far away, so I sometimes get some malt from those guys, but even so I've got to go by price, and sometimes things change. And Bishop Stortford itself has quite a good brewing history, I say very good brewing and malting industry, but now all of a sudden that's all left. I'd love to find a recipe for an old style beer made by the old brewery in Stortford, Hawks, then Bentskins. But as of yet, all my research is coming to a dead end. But I'd love to be able to tie in a bit of history with the beer, with the kind of brand as it is. But all I'm able to do now is make beers that reference Stortford, such as Stortford Sunrise, Stortford Sunset, Stortford Pale Ale. Sometimes play on Stortford history like Malted Barley Bitter, referencing the Malted Barley Castle in Stortford. Just always trying to keep it local, and just at least be able to reference the town in some way until I can take it a bit further perhaps one day.
Water, hops, malted barley and yeast. It's funny to think that so much can come from this random assortment of ingredients. Each week we're going to look at one of these in a more in-depth nature. Continuing with malted barley. Malted grains have been used as an ingredient of beer since ancient times. in regions such as Egypt, Samaria and China. Malt is germinated cereal grains that have been dried in a process known as malting. Barley is the most commonly malted grain, in part because of its high diastatic power or enzyme content. Barley is the most common, though wheat, rye, oats and rice are also used. Malt is often divided into two categories by brewers: base malts and speciality malts. Base malts have enough diastatic power to convert their own starch, while speciality malts have little diastatic power but provide flavour, colour or body, viscosity to the finished beer. The main role of malted barley in the production of beer is to act as a source of sugar and to add sweetness. Furthermore, to provide a potential alcohol content of the beer through the fermentation process. It is the type of malt used which affects the appearance and flavours of the final product. As an example, chocolate malts are dark, black brown and have a burnt flavour. They can be found in dark beers including heavier ales such as porters and stouts. They have a higher malt content which gives them the black colour and richer flavour. While something like lager malts have a lighted yellow appearance and a more biscuity flavour. As the name suggests, these are malts commonly used in production in lager. Now these are just examples of amazing malts in the market. For some recommendations of great malty beers, make sure you check out the latest episode of our companion show, BeeriodBrews. There's a link in the description panel below, but make sure you wait till the end of the episode before you click it. Now we have the who, what, where and how out of the way. Let's move on to the good stuff, the beer.
This beer is in the final stages of fermentation, so this is it basically. Unfiltered, so still a bit hazy. And we're going to have a bit of a taste. Beer is young, but I'll just get a glass.
Oh, exciting stuff. What one of your range is this?
This is Stortford Citra.
You get yourself a glass?
I'll get myself a glass.
Fantastic.
Yeah. I'm pleased. In the glass it looks like it's cleared down a little bit. Haven't added finings to it yet, but it still doesn't look too much like a cider, so I'm pleased.
No, that's really good.
It's going to be quite young.
It smells amazing.
It's going to be quite young because it's only been in the fermenter for 5 days, but alcohol's been made.
Cheers.
Hopefully you like it.
Gorgeous. Gorgeous. It's amazing. Thank you.
Come on. Still very young, and obviously very. It's not, the flavour's not really developed, but luckily there's no faults in there. Can't taste any sterilising liquid or anything like that.
Yeah, luckily. Yeah. Very nice. Very hoppy.
Yeah. Didn't spare the hops there. Citra for bitterness and aroma. So 3 additions in the boil. At the start, late end, and then very end. And it's all about the hop flavour this beer. And you know, being pale and sessionable really. Only 3.9% alcohol.
So it's session beer then.
Yeah.
So where can general members of the public try your beer? Is it just in Stortford really, or surrounding counties?
Yeah, it's all about Stortford and surrounding counties. It's I try to stay as local as possible because I think the name Stortford Brewery and the name Stortford Citra only really applies to the local area. You know, take that name and put it into, I don't know, a beer festival in Scotland or Manchester, it's not going to mean the same. At the moment I'm just happy to brew beer for the local people and I hope people like it really.
Okay. Well, I love it. I think it's amazing. So I think what you guys should do is get on the train, come down to Bishop Stortford or any of the surrounding counties and try some of this amazing beer.
With an amazing product and an enigmatic founder, the future is surely rosy for Darren, or at least I hope so. I wonder what he makes of the risks of trying to run a business when the market is better than it's ever been.
In terms of the market and getting the beer out there, I do worry that there's going to be a saturation point soon where there's just too many breweries. I'm I've been brewing commercially for 3 years now, and it's never been harder than it is now to sell beer. I don't think that is generally due to the amount of breweries out there at the moment. I think that's just because the trade is very slow, and it's just becoming quite hard to continue to diversify in terms of bottling or casking or exporting, or going with a delivery scheme and a pub company. It's become very hard for small brewers to just find a toehold really, and pubs change hands all the time, owners, companies, and an outlet you thought you had, all of a sudden you don't have anymore, and that's become a real challenge. And with someone like me, you want to keep the delivery radius quite small. All of a sudden I'm having to find I'm going out and out and out, and that's proving a challenge to balance costs. But yeah, I'm still keen, I'm still enjoying what I do, so I've just got to keep going, keep brewing the beer, and yeah, I'm hoping things open up a bit more, basically.
When put like that, it's easy to see just how hard getting into the beer market can be. It's even harder when you're a one-man band, as Darren can attest to.
To be bigger, I want to have staff. I'm fed up of doing everything. I'm fed up of cutting the pump clips out at 12 at night with a Stanley knife. I'm fed up of going out in the van, picking up empties. I'd like to just be able to focus on the brewing aspect. But when you're a one-man band, doing everything is hard. And I've had to learn so much stuff in such a short space of time. It's been hard not to kind of compromise on things like the beer and everything like that. Trying to go from like a small plant at home that makes 75 litres to all of a sudden going to here, which makes 16 or 17 firkins at a time. It would just be nice to have a bigger setup, and just be able to even have a partner or a few employees just to take the load really. Because nobody enjoys cask washing. I certainly don't, and it's just tough to do everything. And you try to remain passionate, you try to plough on. But yeah, some days you do think, God, I've got to do this and I've got to do that before I brew it. It would be nice to have a little employee here and there. But I just want to get bigger, continue to get better, increase capacity, increase outlets, and see where I go from there, really.
Well, I guess that's all we've got time for this week, guys. As I said earlier in the video, make sure you check out our companion show, BeeriodBrews. Make sure you subscribe to the channel below, give us a thumbs up, follow us on Twitter, @TheBoxSetBoys. And also check out our blog, the Box Set Blog, .blogspot.com. I've been Liam Amani, and you've been watching Beeriod.